Hey everyone, welcome to Taking the Pulse, a healthcare and life sciences video podcast. I am Heather Hoops Matthews, and today Lauren DeMoss and I are joined by Emily Chee. We are at North Carolina's BIO, the annual meeting of this organization to talk about the life sciences industry in North Carolina. Emily, you are the U.S. General Manager of Novartis Gene Therapies, biotech company dedicated to developing and commercializing gene therapies for patients devastated by rare and life-threatening neurological diseases. Can you start us off by talking about Novartis's gene therapies mission?
Well, Heather, thanks so much. I'm excited to be here in North Carolina. From a Novartis Gene Therapies perspective, we're really focused on treating patients with rare diseases. What's interesting is that we are within a larger organization, Novartis, and many of the diseases we treat are much more common diseases. And so it's really great to have this separate entity that is focused on supporting patients who have rare diseases. We currently have one treatment available in the U.S. for rare disease patients, but we have a significant pipeline that we hope to bring to market very soon that will treat patients with other rare diseases.
Emily, can you give us an overview, I guess, taking a step back on how gene therapy actually works and what your company's role is playing into kind of developing this technology and what you kind of see as the future of gene therapy?
So it's an area I'm super passionate about. So if I get too much into the detail, let me know.
That's good.
No, we like detail.
So first of all, what I'll share is that most rare diseases are actually have a genetic mutation involved, and so gene therapies are a natural way to address rare diseases. But the way gene therapy works is that we actually take a functional copy of the gene that's mutated or that's missing, and we put it inside of a virus. And that it's a deactivated virus, and that virus helps us to get the gene into the body, into the cells that need that gene. And so actually the science behind it is actually quite complicated. And one of the most challenging pieces is actually getting the right virus to transport the gene into the body. And this is where Novartis has invested significant time and energy to look at different viral vectors. And I think really what we've done so far with our first program, I think will help set the stage for additional gene therapies.
Speaking of the additional ones, you said you have many more in the pipeline. I think it's 20 or more I've read. But you may have a specific focus on spinal muscular atrophy, I think, which SMA that
Yes.
It might be called. Will you talk about what this is and maybe the work that you're doing?
So spinal muscular atrophy, or SMA, is a very rare neuromuscular condition. About 1 in 15,000 babies are born with SMA in the U.S. And this is prior to treatments being available, this was the leading cause of genetic death in infants. And essentially these babies are missing the SMN1 gene. And without the SMN1 gene, the patients experience irreversible motor neuron loss. And that's a mouthful, but what that means is that these babies don't have the ability to lift up their head. They can't turn over, they can't sit, they can't stand, they can't walk, they can't breathe on their own, and some of them can't eat on their own. And really, untreated, these patients will not make it past 2 years of age. And so it is a devastating disease, and really there is a high urgency to treat because the motor neuron loss is irreversible. If we can get them treated early, they have the best possible outcome. And so that's really been our focus, is really not only the fact that we have gene therapy, but also looking at how do we diagnose these patients quickly and get treatment to them quickly.
You know, Novartis is one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world and locations everywhere. We've been talking to you before we started on where all you're traveling this week. Why do you believe North Carolina is a good place for the life science industry?
So for us, actually, the reason we have our manufacturing facility about a mile away from where we're standing right now, and the reason we do have our site here in Durham is that the workforce, the talent here is really unbeatable. And so for us to be able to have access to world-class talent who are knowledgeable and who can manufacture gene therapy, it is a complicated manufacturing process, and to have the right talent, this is the right place for us to be.
Well, you're doing a very good work from just this small amount that we've heard today, and just wish you much speedy success in that, in your travels the rest of the week, but really in finding the right therapies for people in need. Joining us today, again, Emily Chee. She is the U.S. General Manager of Novartis Gene Therapies, a biotech company with lots of locations, but also right here in North Carolina. And we're at, again, NC Bios Today annual meeting. Emily, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.